Question of the day
Yeah, this is awesome. And every morning I was
is
thinking about in terms of the life cycle of the business. That's question of the day.
the question of the day is what every CEO should know about software testing.
Wow, this is an awesome question. I really love the question. What every CEO should know about testing. So, welcome to the TestguruTV, the show where we discuss the hottest topics of software testing and quality assurance every week for the sake of mental health in software industry, because everybody's just happier when software works. The dude sitting next to me, ultimate champion of testing, Jani Haikala.
Hello, and here next to me is Antti Niittyviita, a tireless testing advocate, a trainer, a public speaker, and an author.
And I am also spitting on the microphone. I'm so excited about the question.
I forgive you.
So the question, what every CEO should know about testing.
The thing here is that you're a CEO.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
So the first question that comes to my mind is what actually is interesting to a CEO? Do you have any perspective on that?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. Although I may be like a little bit like, I'm not sure how to say it, redundant in answering this question, because like I'm a CEO of a testing company. So, and I'm, from my background, I'm like a tester, like long-term software tester and software testing trainer. So hard to say if I could answer the question. But like in general, as a CEO, I'm really like super interested about the value that we bring to our clients. Yeah. And you know, our customer satisfaction. And you know, our reviews and stuff like that. And those are the things that as a byproduct, they will create us revenue. So so it's about like a cash flow and stuff like that. So it's the financials of the business. So serving clients, getting new clients, and you know, just, you know, the revenue. So those are like really like interesting like starters, and there was obviously more like company culture and stuff like that. So at play, but I would say those are the like the obvious ones.
Yeah. There's actually one thing from that sort of money perspective that comes to my mind is that quite often when you talk about testing with different software development designers, there's quite a lot of different functions in the company, different roles.
That's true.
And there's no one who's a dedicated tester or a testing professional. There's no one who actually has that expertise.
Yeah, that's true.
There's like developers and managers, and
there's no one to say that this is testing is my responsibility.
This
is my testing responsibility.
And sort of. I think it's pretty common if you know a new startup, for example, comes up. So there's quite a lot of different functions, and the company has to grow quite big until the first actual tester is recruited. So, and I think behind that is the idea that it's an expense. And it's difficult to say what it actually brings back to you. How the ROI actually return on
ROI is really important question that I get like asked a lot. One of the things that I think we should cover here too. But one thing that I really like heard what you were saying was really interesting. It's that the business always has a life cycle, and the business is at some phase of its life cycle. You know, life cycle is that it's a newborn, it's a toddler, it's a teenager, young adult, and there is this maturity, and there are different things in terms of testing and quality assurance that the business will need as they're toddlers. Probably not much, because like they're just experimenting or their business ideas and stuff like that. And on the other hand, when you're at the maturity and you want to like refine your reputation and stuff like that, and you want to make it like really like super successful, then there are different things that you will need to do for your brand. So thinking about in terms of the life cycle of the business, that's one of the things that what do we need in terms of where we are at the moment. That's I think that's a big one.
And actually the fact I think is that it's the life cycle goes pretty far.
There is
it takes a long time until testing is
I don't know, taken part of life cycle too.
Taken seriously or actually invested in and that sort of has been always interesting to me. Like when you're bringing a new product to the market, for example, the idea that you bring a new product to the market without actual professional testing done at all. Of course, there's some testing done by someone, but no professional testing, and that's to me it's really risky, and that is. And it sounds like one area where a CEO should understand something.
This is really actually super fun. I just want to give a shout out to Jani because like he's been shooting like these videos on Instagram Reels and sometimes TikTok too, where he like goes out and reads app reviews from like the marketplace.
Reading app reviews. Audiobook application. Rating 3.0 stars. Once again, there is a bug where the front page is empty and the favorites are forgotten. More commercials has been added trying to convince you to subscribe. Constant bugs doesn't make me want to pay for the content.
And those are hilarious. 1-star review of a banking app or whatever it is, and I just love those. Is there something that you have like learned by like doing this series? Like,
I think it's quite commonly actually. It is something, those bad reviews. So obviously I go to app stores looking for those bad reviews, the 1-star, 2-star reviews. And quite commonly those are applications where the rating is something like 2.5, 3 stars out of 5. I think the majority of those are somehow related to it's always easy to say why wasn't this tested, didn't they test at all, or things like that. And sure, they have tested for sure. Absolutely. There's no project. I don't think there's any project where testing hasn't been done at all. That's just not the case. But it has been probably focusing a lot on the technical aspects and the specifications and stuff like that, and the user needs and the way of using, and those aspects have been maybe forgotten about. And then the users actually, it's one thing to test for if everything works as we have planned, and another to test if that plan actually corresponds to the user's way of using and user's needs and user's environment and so on. And I think a lot of those reviews are related to that. And that's obviously, if you don't test for it, those bugs will go to the production, and you will get feedback on those.
And those 1-star reviews are the ones that really stand out. Like they're like the loudest ones because someone's super frustrated and they want to like their voice and the pain to be heard. And this is like really interesting that I've been like observing like the series and I have this like one experience when I first time when I wanted to be Tony Stark in the Marvel movies, and I wanted my own voice assistant. So there was the voice assistant called the Jarvis. So I have the voice assistant on my Apple phone. So I'm not mentioning it here because like it will activate your assistants there, but I will call it Jarvis. So I set up my Philips smart lights to my home, and I wanted them to be like commanded by my voice and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And every morning I was saying, hey Jarvis, good morning. And Jarvis was like, good morning, Antti. And then my lights would go on and my smart plug would turn on the coffee brewer. And I was like, this is awesome. On the 3rd or 4th morning, nothing happened. I was like, good morning, Jarvis. I was like, they're like all furious and nothing happened. And I was like,
it's time to get up! Wake up, bitch!
Yeah! And I ran out of my bed and I slammed on the lights manually and went on to turn the coffee brewer like by hand. And there I was furious. And all of a sudden I find myself there in the kitchen table, a telephone in my in my hand and a phone in my hand. I was like typing 1-star review. You suck! So it really struck me a little bit later when I got my first cup of coffee for the morning. Really struck me that like the modern state of the internet, it really exposes the truth of your business and your product's quality in a way that it has never done before.
Absolutely, and it you don't really, and that happens publicly. The majority of the time, there's cases where you actually get the feedback to your customer support or whatever. But that quite often happens publicly. It's those app reviews, or it's those rants in social media, in Twitter or Facebook or something like that.
Public complaints.
Yeah. Given that that's something that we all recognize that happens quite a lot. How can you take a product to the market without
that
professional testing? So that's really risky and really daring.
And I would say, like, when talking about return on investment, like ROI of testing, I would even like reframe the discussion as the cost of inaction. So what's the cost of you not doing it? And that's the cost on your reputation, whenever you do your launches or stuff like that. And then there is another cost that is cost to your call centers and support,
right?
And they're like consuming their time in helping people work around bugs that you could have actually avoided by doing like professional testing. And
True.
So the cost of inaction is everywhere, and that's why I would like calibrate always the ROI discussion to the cost of inaction discussion.
Right.
So,
it is about risk management.
Yeah, that's
essentially
true.
It's about those risks that might happen and what would they cost if they happened.
Yeah, and then you could ask yourself as a CEO, you could ask yourself, can we live with the risk? But you got to identify the risks and then make the decision that, well, that's a valid risk on our public relations and our brand and, our product support, wherever it is. And can we live with the risk? And then you decide, we can, or we can't. And then you got to invest more.
Yeah, and the return on investment question is a bit funny at times. It's I don't know if it's asked about every role. For example, project manager. Is there what's the ROI of project manager?
Yeah, I always return with the question, what's the ROI of your mom?
Yeah,
Or, you have a basketball, what's the ROI of a basketball? Well, for you, probably none. But if you were like LeBron James, it's like millions, You only have to bounce it once and sign your like autograph on the ball, and that's like epic level ROI. So it's always a matter of how well you play with the ball. And that's what testing is. It's your ability to play the ball of testing that like impacts your ROI.
True.
And that's why, because it's always a matter of skill. That's why I would always go back to the discussion of cost of inaction and can we live with that cost. So that would be the most reasonable thing to do with testing.
True.
As a CEO, one of the things that I've learned that there is like, to me, there are three factors that drive the business most. Obviously, there are more, but the three factors, they are like in the modern state of the internet, when you have a software product. The number one is your reputation. Your brand, your reputation. Is it like credible and stuff like that? Your reputation is number one. Then the number two is your customer satisfaction. So when those are like in order, everything else is so much more easy. And the contributor to that is your quality. So reputation, customer satisfaction, and your quality. And those are the things that if those are like done, your culture is faring well. If clients are complaining, your culture will be impacted. Those three are the I would say like the main drivers. Obviously there are more, and probably you have different main drivers, but as a CEO, those are mine.
That sounds interesting. Yeah. Good point. Anything else to add to this?
Probably, because I could like address this topic like days.
Okay.
Probably, but I feel like for the episode we have answered the question.
Yeah.
So what should every CEO know about testing? Match it to the life cycle of your business. Remember that your reputation is basically everything. Your customer satisfaction is basically everything, and quality is what like builds it. So easy things to remember, difficult things to do, or easy things to forget too. So it's like small things in a sense, but they're as easy as they are to do, it is as easy to forget them. So
Right.
I feel like we're covered.
I'm happy about it.
Awesome. Hey, if you have more questions to us, if you want to give your ideas about the answer we had here, please don't hesitate to use the comment field, and please hammer the like button on your platform, whatever it is, heart-shaped, thumb-shaped, or whatever, and subscribe to the channel, and please share the video with someone who may benefit from it, and invite them to join as well, because like this way we can build a better world for not only testing but the domain of software in general, because everybody's so much more happier when software works. We're working on mental health here,
And that's important. Thank you for joining us. See you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're so stupid.